Good evening, everyone. How are we all? Who's been looking forward to tonight? We have. Been very busy the last couple of weeks preparing. Now, I'm presenting the first dish for this evening, but before I start, I'll introduce myself. So my name is Nadine. Hello, nice to meet you all. I'm not originally from Sydney. I'm not a Sydney sider. I come from Victoria, and I moved here a year ago when I married my husband. And we are privileged parents to a 5-month-old baby who's in the back supervising in the kitchen. In Victoria, my profession was a personal carer. So I used to look after elderly people in my local community, and I was working through my local council. Food is a passion of mine. I love food. I love researching nutrients, nutrition about the food, also recipes, and I love to eat it too. So yes, I've done some subject to natural health, but due to marriage plans and moving and falling pregnant, I had to put them on hold. But my books are on the shelf because hopefully I'm planning when our little one turns 1 just to get back into it. So that's me. So the first dish that I'll be presenting this evening is lentil spread. Who is familiar with lentils? Okay, so who cooks them? Okay, probably very yummy too. Okay, so to begin with, we just need 2 cups of lentils. Now, 2 cups of cooked lentils for this recipe. Just a note, 1 cup uncooked lentils will yield 2 cups. Now, the lentils is the main ingredient for this dish tonight. And this is our main brain food ingredient. This is our main ingredient, and this is the main brain food ingredient within this recipe. Does anyone know a little bit about lentils besides how to cook them? No? Okay. Well, they are part of the B complex, the vitamin B complex family, and they're actually vitamin B9. Folate, thank you, which is folic acid. So have you heard of folic acid before? Okay, so it gets mentioned it's good for hair and skin and this and that. Very common for pregnancy. That's because of the rapid growth, because of the baby, the fetus, and folate helps in growth. But tonight we're looking at the brain function of the folate, and it helps with the nervous system to function. It helps with the nervous system to function properly, and it's very crucial alongside B12 for the actual brain function as well, because it helps you and it plays an important part with your mental and also your emotional health. And I think we all like to be emotionally healthy, wouldn't it? Okay. So the next ingredient is shallots. Now I have forgotten my knife, my hands are clean, so I'm going to break them up and put them in the blender. The blender will do the rest. Okay, and next is celery salt. Have you all heard of celery salt? It's very unique taste. But actually, it's like you're eating celery. Very strong.
Can you replace this fresh celery if you want?
You can, yes, you can. You can. I've chosen to do the celery salt, thinking that the fresh celery will be very strong, but the salt is strong as well. So, but with the salt, you just get the extra kick with the celery salt. You get the extra kick with the salt, and a little bit of other flavours in it as well. So I only use 1/4 of a teaspoon which is there on the sheet.
With no strings attached.
Yes, well, that was why I didn't want to use the fresh one because it's very hard because of the fibres for it to break up. Okay. The next ingredient is just a tablespoon of fresh lemon. And next ingredient is flaxseed meal. Have you all heard of flaxseed? Okay. Another very important grain food ingredient because of the omega-3 that it has in it, the healthy fats. So here, so on the recipe sheet there, I've got 2 tablespoons flaxseed meal. 1 tablespoon of flax will make up 2 flax grounded. Now, have you all seen this little gadget before? Does anyone own one? They're great, aren't they?
They're inexpensive as well. You can buy them $30.
At your local home store.
Home.
Also, I've seen it at the reject shop as well. And I make garlic oil in here. I put fresh herbs, garlic and oil, and I blend it, and I just pour it all on bread. It's very quick and efficient way to make garlic bread instead of doing everything separately and then mixing. Okay, so just grind up the flax. Add 2 teaspoons into the blender, tablespoons. Now I need my husband to help me out here because there's different benefits. Have you all seen flaxseed oil? Okay. Now there's different benefits in it being grinded than with the actual oil.
Now with the flaxseed oil, very high content of omega-3s. One of the highest that you're going to find. Very high compared to flaxseed meal. Okay, so you have the oil, so 1 tablespoon of oil is going to have a lot more than 1 tablespoon of meal, of omega-3.
What's the other name for flaxseed?
Linseed.
Yeah, it's very common, linseed.
They have dual names. Linseed and flaxseed is the same thing.
It's the same, yeah.
2 different names. And so with the oil, you get a high content of omega-3, but the thing why we use more of the ground, flaxseed ground or meal, is because you get, if you use enough, you can get the same amount, say 3 tablespoons of meal will be able to get you the same amount of omega-3 as one tablespoon, okay? And also you get fibre, which you don't get in the oil, and in the meal you get a amino acid that's called tryptophan. Has anyone heard of tryptophan? If you have, if you haven't. Now tryptophan is very, very crucial in regards to mental well-being, mental health. And so with the meal you get the tryptophan, whereas with the oil you don't. You only get the omega-3 with the oil. So that's why we tend to use a bit more meal, because you get multiple benefits compared to the oil, and you get that tryptophan, which is very, very important.
Isn't it the oil doesn't last as long as the seed?
The seed, well, if you keep the seed whole, then it'll last a while in the fridge. If you grind it or make a ground, then you keep it in the fridge, but even then it's limited. I wouldn't keep it too long. I think once it starts to get like a fishy smell, you should discard it. That's when it's too far gone.
So the actual whole flaxseed can be room temperature for about a year, but once you grind it, it needs to be stored in the fridge, and up to a week at least. Even the oil needs to be stored in the fridge as well.
And you shouldn't cook with flaxseed oil.
Because it changes the structure.
You never cook with oil, the flaxseed oil, never. Only for fresh.
Now, have you all smelt the flaxseed oil before? Have you smelt that fishy? Yeah, it's got the omegas in it. So I have here vegan mayonnaise, and I just, okay, if you put a bit of an error there on your sheet, it's 1/4 cup. Just put a C there for a cup. Now I'll demonstrate this as well. You can use a mayonnaise of your choice, even a soya mayonnaise, the ones that don't have dairy. We like to make ours because it's fresh. At least you know what you're putting in it. And fresh food is better than, it's more wholesome. It's more. So you just put all the ingredients in your blender, and then you just turn it on. Pulse it just so I know that I've got all the chunky bits and they're being pureed. Now, I don't blend it on a high heat, I just do it midway. And you want you're after a smooth consistency, but thick. And you can see that I put no water in here and I blended. So that's because the lentils are soft, they've got the juice, also the mayonnaise as well. Another tip about flax, why we put the flax in here, because it binds it. It gives it that thicker consistency, because for people who don't have dairy, you can replace the egg in your recipe with flax. Because if you put it in water, it goes like a gel. Have anyone seen that before? Well, yeah, and that binds it. Now also something was mentioned about tryptophan being in the flax. Now that is a precursor to receiving serotonin. We have a little bit within our bodies, but this helps aids it and produce more. And then serotonin produces melatonin. Now serotonin you get throughout the day, so if you're eating your food, that's producing more, but it's not going to be enough if you're not going to go out and receive the sun. So you have to go out and receive the sunshine, and that would help as well. Also melatonin you receive at night time. So without shut eye and the darkness between a certain time, between 12 and 4, then you'll be lacking that. So I call these the happy hormones. But this is all happy food. Okay. So with this spread, I have it on your recipe sheet. You can serve it with corn chips. You can put it on a cracker, how we've demonstrated it tonight. Also, you can use it on toasted bread, like a nice whole grain toasted bread. And also, you can use it as a sandwich spread. So you can put your lentil spread, and you can just build it up with your salad or toppings of your choice. Now, I will be demonstrating this as well. Do you know that tofu is also a brain food? Does anyone know what's in tofu besides protein?
Soybean.
Pardon? Soybean.
Yeah, that's what it's made.
That's what it's made from, but it has a nutrient or a nutrient in it, which is good for the brain. Tofu also has tryptophan as well.
Very high. It's tofu is the highest source of tryptophan that you'll find on your shelf in the shops.
It's very versatile. You can use tofu in anything. You can even make a cheesecake out of it, which is very yummy. So any questions?
With the certain tofu that you're using for the
Yes.
mayonnaise, how long can you store it? Because I always have a problem. I buy a big chunk and I end up chunking it.
Oh really?
How long can you and how do you store it?
Okay, tofu. With me, when depending how big my block is, I cut it up and put it in a container with fresh water.
So it covers.
Covers
Yeah.
completely in the fridge.
How long?
It can last, if you change your water daily, it can last up to 5 days.
So
Yeah.
5 days.
Actually, I think I've lasted a bit more longer.
A week, I think.
A week,
I
7
changed the water every day.
Yeah, but you have to change the water every day. If not, then it goes murky
Yeah.
and you get the
And it
smell.
starts to smell.
Yeah, but if you change that water every day, and you rinse it off too, like I normally tip the water out, kind of rinse it, and then tip it out, and then just put it fresh.
But preferably use it as quickly as possible.
As possible, yeah. But a week, 7 days is plenty.
And once you make the mayonnaise, how long can you keep that in the fridge?
That I would say probably 5 days.
Refrigerated for 5
Yeah.
days.
Yes. Because it's been broken down, it probably have a chance to go off quicker, more than the actual tofu because it's kept in its natural
Yeah.
state. Yeah. So now I'll call out Susan. She's going to demonstrate. I'll let her demonstrate and announce her own dish, and then I'll be back out after she's finished just to demonstrate quickly the mayonnaise for you.